But there's no sound. We can't hear you.
Okay, that should do it. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Amitofo. Sorry about that. Don't know why the microphone refused to work. Interesting. Okay. So let me start over. I'll just say 大家好，我叫恒实啊，今天是3月份3月11啊，在这里在澳大利亚啊，现在是中午12点半。我注意今天比较少人来了，为什么呢？可能他们不知道，在加州现在是星期天晚上7点半，美国已经改到 Daylight Savings Time，中文怎么说 Daylight Savings 我都不知道，那个是早一个小时，所以这边会有许多人就1点半。来听，或者11点半来听法那么我们已经到齐就说准时到的人，我们都一起研究华严经那么我们为开始 ，Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm catching up. Let's see here. 日光时间 Oh, there we go. Thank you, Celeste. 日光时间 Oh, and that's a good translation, huh? 夏令时 says, 林峰是夏令时，夏时3个不同。Let's see here. 夏令时 and then 夏时至 says 林峰。Okay, different translations of our daylight savings. Thank you for the response. Appreciate that. Okay, now Gwen is waiting to request Dharma. So let's bring our Dharma request up, and I will begin first by ringing the bell 3 times and inviting everyone to join me as we bow to the Buddha. 我先请就令我那个引磬3下，大家可以一起礼佛行3问讯礼，然后我们都请棍来请法。来，1问讯，2问讯，3问讯。Okay, Gwen, if you would like to request Dharma, please go ahead.
阿弥陀佛，恭敬大德僧听，为此法会，尽一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，速证无生。 Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and assemblies and in birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi sammyao samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi sammyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿觉如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right. Thank you for the Dharma request, Gwen. We appreciate that. And once again, welcome to everyone who is here to investigate the Flower Garland Sutra with me, the Ten Transferences chapter. We are in the 7th transference, and we are going to continue through our reasons why the Bodhisattva is happy, and then hear some fascinating episodes from Master Xuanzang's biography. 再来说欢迎各位参加我们万佛圣城星期天晚上的十回向品华严经的十回向品讲座。我们现在研究第7回向。第7回向呢是就菩萨为什么回向的时候发欢喜心，有110个原因，我们都继续在研究。然后呢，我们都会就听听一些非常动听的这个玄奘大师去印度取经的故事。Okay, we've got our microphone problems sorted. Apologize for the initial confusion there. Thought I had the microphone situation in hand, but I didn't. There is never a dull moment. Here we go. And one more time. we would like to say that the Pomo people practice their spiritual connections to the earth and all creation here on their ancestral land in Mendocino County for tens of thousands of years, and today we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of those lands. We offer our respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就是说，我们恭敬地承认 Pomo 人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从未放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Okay. And the bells sound wide resounds throughout 100,000,000 worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000劫内，佛法养万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他诺后德。Here we go. Done. Welcome to 100 plus people who are with us already. Where are we from? Our co-host is in Taipei and in Dublin, Ohio. Yes, not far from where I came from. Oroville, Washington, Ukiah, California. Calgary, Alberta. San Jose, California. Ukiah. Redwood Valley, Hong Kong, Newbury Park, Los Angeles, Sunnyvale, Saratoga, all these places in California. Welcome, everybody. Calgary, San Jose, Round Rock, Texas, Cupertino, where else here? 温哥华, Canada, 吉林省大安市, okay, Alameda, California, what's it called? Burlingame, California, that's right. And Taipei, Taiwan, Sacramento, Columbia City, Oregon. Okay, Jan is here. Berkeley, Jane is here. Okay, Seattle, Ukiah, we have Jinro Shi and Jinyan Shi. Welcome, welcome. Union City and New Zealand. Okay, lovely. Kiwis are here. Let's see, Waterloo, Ontario, Seattle, Saratoga, San Jose, Bay Area, San Jose, Bothell, Washington. Where else? San Jose. Okay, Sarah is here from Ukiah area. See, Steve is here from Los Angeles. More from Seattle, more Ukiah. We're getting, lots of buy-in from Shifu's senior disciples. Glad you're here. More to come on that. Okay, Oklahoma. Yes, Tina is here. Okay, let's see here. Virginia, Calgary, Vancouver. Lots of Canadians today. Malaysia, Santa Barbara. And then we switch to Chinese side of the world. We have Taipei, we have Shanghai, we have Harbin, and Beijing, and Shanghai. And the Feng family is here. Let's see here from Hangzhou. Liaoning, Chaoyang. Okay. Let's see here. Taiwan, Taipei, Taiwan. Shenzhen, Beijing, Jilin, Beijing. Hunan. Okay. Lovely. Welcome. Huanying. Liaoning, Heilongjiang. Let's see here. Shenzhen, Guangdong. Taiwan, Yunlin. Okay. Excellent. Zhejiang, Lanhai. Heilongjiang. Where else? Anhui, Suzhou. 生和西，你怎么跑到中文那里？OK， 陕西宝鸡， 黑龙江、福建、泉州 ，OK， 吉林，河北 ，OK， 张家口、黑龙江、北京，哦，深圳、南海 ，OK， 不是南海，是海南，对不起啊，西雅图、黑龙江、马来西亚、吉隆坡 ，OK， 辽宁、山东、上海、黑龙江、台北、湖北，台北和湖北。Guangzhou. Okay, welcome everybody. Wow. You know, that's quite an exercise. That's great. Okay, glad you are here. Alrighty. Now, today, what do we have in store? Let's get right to it. Because there is a lot of, lots and lots of vows to go, and if we go so slowly, we wind up never making progress. So we'll move a little faster today. 我们讲的速度快一点，今天哈。来 ，OK, palms together. Here we go. 为令一切众生得无差别平等智慧，与一相法，普清净故。The Bodhisattva is happy to dedicate merit in order to enable living beings to attain the wisdom that regards all equally, and to develop pure realization that regards all phenomena as one. Wow, okay, you are a cultivator. You've done something wholesome, something good. You know you have merit and virtue. You want to transfer the merit. You want to share it with everybody. You want to establish air vitamins surrounding you so that everybody has good connection with you, and you also forestall negative thoughts and temper and greed by thinking good thoughts. And you come up with a transference wish that goes like this: I would like all beings to attain the wisdom that regards all equally, and also to develop pure realization that regards all phenomena as one. Whew. Your mind goes in profound places. Well done. So, the wisdom that regards all equally. So, democratic. That is to say, one person, one vote, not one man, one vote. There is a new fascinating awareness since the, I try not to get political, but it's in the air, isn't it? The other party who is not in power after the State of the Union gives a rebuttal talk. And this time, the party not in the White House named a speaker whose speech was not well received by either side. And everyone commented that it was a senator, a woman, and yet she used a voice like a little girl. She used a child's voice in much of her talk, and people were mystified, and they said, oh, this is a result of her evangelical background, because if you present yourself to your husband as a child, he is less likely to kill you. It is legal in traditional biblical households, and in some parts of the world too, including traditional Japan of the 1600s, that it's legal for the husband, if he is unhappy, to be able to kill his wife with no responsibility, no punishment. The wife is the possession of the husband, profoundly not equal, to the point that life doesn't matter any more than a possession of the husband. So look at Buddhism. Our Bodhisattva says, I want living beings to attain the wisdom that regards all equally, men and women and non-gendered beings alike. How about that? I admire that tremendously. It just draws me back to Buddhism. That is not only, and just that fact in itself, in the Dharma realm of humans, but when you take it into the Dharma realm of all 10 Dharma realms, particularly the six-spoked wheel, Buddhism respects animals the same, respects passed away elders, ghosts, the same. Respects Asuras, Devas, beings in the hells, the same. All have the Buddha nature and all can become Buddhas. Powerful. Really, really powerful. And not many religions do that. There are often gender imbalances or caste imbalances that dehumanize some persons or some genders. And Buddhism does not. Buddhism says we respect your life equally with my own, and that respect translates into future sharing of awakened, enlightened mind. Go for it. And then your mind goes, and I want to transfer merit to develop pure realization that regards all phenomena as one. You need samadhi for that. You need to use prajna paramita to see through not only the emptiness of self, but the emptiness of dharmas, all phenomena. So you have to look at all dharmas as composite, made up of other things coming together, adhering temporarily, and then vanishing, going back to nothingness again. That takes real wisdom to do that. 好的，就说为令一切众生得无差别平等智慧与一相法普清净故。这位菩萨他修一点功德，或者修了很多功德，然后心里就说现在是回向的时间，我就回向功德。回向呢，他就说我希望一切众生得智慧，什么样的智慧？平等智慧。什么样的平等智慧呢？无差别、无区别平等智慧，就是说男女平等，老少平等，东西平等就说人皆平等，畜生平等，鬼界平等天人平等，这样子六道轮回都一样恭敬，一样要度要解脱了。就是说他呢佛法平等民主性，一个头一个人一个票，这样子那么都一样重要。这样子是佛法的一种高尚的地方。很多宗教呢就不以为然就妻子太太是丈夫的拥有的一个好像一个物品，一个物质不是人所以我们就看看佛法有这种的大公无私然后呢不但我也空，而且呢希望众生与一相法不清净故。一相法怎么样呢？就说明白他呢打坐就入定，那么定呢怎么拿到呢？就是先有怎么说我说错了，怎么会有智慧呢？就因为先有定。这个定就是如果是正定正受呢，就会开发般若智慧。般若智慧呢就把我空了，就把法空了知道一切法是以因缘而生，然后那个因缘集合一会儿，时间久了就分开离开，就以因缘而灭。那么所以呢就这样子能空法空我空我空法，这样子解脱了。所以他这样子回向不错不错，这么怎么说 What an incredible transference vow. These are, remember we said there were 73 of them, 72 of them, 74 of them that were cultivating practices, and then including the entirety of the Bodhisattva path, all 53 steps, 52 steps. But then the last 30-some are here to integrate those practices into the attainment of Buddhahood. That's what's going on here. That's why these vows are incredible. I think you probably can hear the rain falling hard. How about that? Another midday rainstorm. Here we go. 为令一切众生于理无为，一切善根悉具足故. In order to enable living beings to, what? Always accord with the noumenal essence of all things, perfecting all their good roots. The noumenal essence of all things. Okay, how does that work? Now, I said we were going to go more quickly. If I riff on all of these. So the question is, how deeply do you see? If you have wisdom, something bad happens, are you able to roll with it? Or do you have to engage emotion and react? That's hard. That's really hard to do. To be able to, when things don't go your way, let's say somebody gets in your face and insults you, really insults you, insults your mother. Ooh, that's hard to take. How are you able to respond? If you can hear an insult like that and simply go, oh man, that person doesn't know my mother. They must be having a really bad day. I'm not going to increase it. Just let it go. That is according with the noumenal essence of things. You understand not just the surface, that that person insulted you and you need to react because you have a face to defend. Instead, set the face aside and go for the gold, which is preventing conflict by seeing the real source of the affliction that led to the insult. The insult doesn't pertain to you at all. That person has very little interest in you or your well-being, but they took advantage of your presence to vent their own frustrations that they couldn't deal with. It takes wisdom to see that. And if more living beings could accord with the noumenal essence of all things instead of their superficial aspects, we would have a world with less bloodshed, with less suffering. But the problem is insults build up and grievances are held and vengeance is required even after centuries. Our dear Emerita, president of Dharma-masanga Buddhist University, Snezhina, has a house in Croatia on an island called Split. And she says, she was describing her neighbors, because this Croatian town has been around in even the buildings there have been around some since Roman times. And she says that in that neighborhood there are traditional views of vengeance and grievance that go back centuries, that something happened back in the 1500s that is still fresh in the minds, and they have had a vendetta against the families all this time. So traditional views are hard to shake, indeed. 怎么说呢？就说菩萨会相功的，就说于理无为，一切善根悉具足故。于理无为，就说这个翻译很有意思，就说这位菩萨希望众生受到他的回向之后，他们遇到任何情形，无论是怎么honor killing, that's correct, yeah. 无论这个什么不好过的情形，什么逆境不是顺境，是逆境。什么逆境到了菩萨的跟前，他呢就不是单单为表面就有反应或者动情感， 动他的情绪来报仇，不会。举一个例子，有人到菩萨的跟前来侮辱他，说你母亲怎么样，你妈妈怎么样了，叭叭叭叭叭叭，就说一些希望可以惹对方的，动他的怒气。然后菩萨听到了，他就说：“哦，我相信你不认识我母亲了，我母亲不是这样子，你这么说不对的啊。那么我听你这样讲，我就知道与我没关系的，与我母亲没有关系，就是你自己心里不平衡，你自己心里有烦恼啊。我能不能帮忙啊，让你比较安静哈？有这种的大忍耐力哦，不容易的，这是真正的功夫啊。师父玄华上人非常重视这个不生气这种功夫，他说这是真正的定力。什么叫功夫？什么叫定力？就是这个啊。那么菩萨也能这样子与众不动了不动于众呢就说那个这样子呢明白那个寄颂的意思就说争是四是胜，福心与道相违背，变胜四相心，由和得三昧哈，你们都听过了啊。那个由和得三昧，那个三昧就是要保护你自己的三昧。如果你有小小的定力，然后考验来了，人侮辱你了就说你的坏话，你如果哎呀愤怒了，哎呦，那就没有定力。你如果听了不动了，就说没有，与我没有关系的我有法宝要保护我那么那个时候是真正定力，真正的你的功夫了。好了，然后呢，我就说我们退居的法界大学的校长是阿克皮纳尔博士，他是欧洲那个就说东欧洲那个 Croatia 那个国家来的，他有一个房子在 Split 一个海岛。这个罗马盛世那个时候，罗马帝国的盛世那个时候，已经有一些房子还在那个海岛，还没有，就是已经几千年。阿奎纳尔博士说，他邻居有一些人，他们400年前、500年前有家庭跟家庭的冲突了，有谁对谁不恭敬、不平等、不公正、不怎么说 unfair 不恭敬了，不公平，对方受害的那家还记得，还保留那种仇恨，已经400、500年，家与家没有讲过话的，他们都有这个受害感他说人就是这样子，很奇怪，放不下，看不破了。所以菩萨现在会上供的，他说就说于理无为，你看到情形，你可以不生反感，不会被皮毛所转，不被境界所转，而能转境界。哇，这是真正的功夫。一切善根悉具足，慢慢的善根都具足了。OK， 为令一切众生与一切菩萨自在神通悉明达故。In order to enable living beings to penetrate Bodhisattva's spiritual powers of self-mastery. Yeah. Spiritual powers. Very, very different reaction to the question of spiritual powers in the West versus in Asia. In Asia, I'm going to turn on the lights. It is so dark because of the rain. We lost our sunlight. There we go. Luckily, I am in charge of the lighting and the sound, the son et la lumière. Here. Okay. This issue of self-mastery, how different. I live in a urban setting in busy Berkeley, California, in the Bay Area, and following our teacher's instructions, the Berkeley Monastery opened up our Buddha Hall to different spiritual groups for the nights that we are not using it. So it's the Institute for World Religions. There are other Buddhist groups, mostly made up of Westerners, Caucasians. There's the group from Spirit Rock, which is the East Bay Insight Meditation community. And they do not have a similar framework as we do in the Chinese Mahayana. Their tradition is rooted in the Thai forest tradition, and yet it's, by and large, about 95% Caucasian, African American, but not Asian. It's not based in the Mahayana. China, Korea, Vietnam, Japan. So occasionally, it's my job to fill in for their teachers, and I do it, or Jin Wei Shi or Jin Chuan Shi, our co-teachers at Berkeley, fill in. And I have to remember where I am from night to night, because if I am speaking Dharma on a Saturday night, or tonight's lecture at City of 10,000 Buddhas, we can talk about spiritual powers of self-mastery and penetrate all bodhisattvas, spiritual powers of self-mastery. And mostly, people will go, yeah, that would be great. I know what they are. They're the ability to, let's see, what are they? Past lives, hear the Deva's ear, the Deva's, let's see, what else? Knowledge of others' thoughts, right? And then, yeah, that's psychic powers. Yeah, bodhisattvas have them. Our teacher was good. And we just nod and go on. If we say those very same words on Thursday night, when the Insight Meditation group, the Vipassana group, is meeting, they will have a very different reaction. They'll, like, their eyes will go wide, and like, are we still talking about Buddhism, or are we talking about magic? Is that a lot of superstitious? Like, what happened to mindfulness? So interesting that these same planet, same religion, Buddhism, same room, Berkeley Monastery, very, very different cultural assumptions. And it's, I think the key word is the cultural side. The fact that, for example, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Indonesia, in Thailand, if you want to hex someone, there people in the Buddhist world know stories of people who have been hexed. It's in the culture, and it's not part of Buddhism. It's part of the surrounding spiritual, religious, shamanistic culture, and it's just understood and accepted. And Master Hua informed us about that, and we even have some members listening in tonight who have had negative experiences with encountering that culture. And because we were part of a delegation that came from City of 10,000 Buddhas, those particular black magic dharmas crossed our path. It's true, this happened. So how amazing that because the Buddha arose directly from his Hinduistic Brahmanistic background as prince of a king of India, he's not divorced from the world surrounding. Although his father tried to pull him out of it, it was only after the prince re-engaged with the culture outside the palace that he began to question the reality around him. So that reality, I guess Master Hua said, wherever there is wholesome and good and white and pure, there is also negative and dark and polluted. That the demon arises to counter the Buddha. So there we are. And perhaps as Buddhism matures in America, maybe more people will start to ask about spiritual powers of self-mastery. Until then, you got to know your audience. 对了，就说为令一切众生与一切菩萨自在神通悉明达故。就是这个自在神通这个问题呢，我们都要清楚哈。这个在 Berkeley 那里，我们的道场上人也告诉我们，也是一个汉传佛教的道场，也是一个法界宗教研究院。上人安排我们给我们开始的时候有一个宗旨，他说：你们不讲课不讲经的晚上都可以借给其他的宗教人士，他们可以到那里来行他们的仪式，信他们的教。所以呢，我们就依教奉行，就有犹太教、印度教3个不同佛教的团体，南传佛教，每个礼拜、每个月，还有这个比丘尼僧团，他们也来做，还有我们对话的，有一些科学跟佛法的对话，常常来用，都是每天晚上有不同的团体在佛殿那里。问题是什么？就是有的时候，这个星期四那个团体是从泰国这个 Vipassana 泰国森林僧团来的一些叫East Bay 东湾mindfulness 正念研究团，他们应该说90%就是西方人，中国人他们不属于汉传佛教，所以呢，他们所知道的完全是从巴利文来的，也是从自己心理分析、心理学来的，很多很多。你提神通一点都不通，你不感兴趣，而且呢怕了。他们认为神通是迷信，是一些外道。那么佛教，我们汉传佛教也对于神通，也有一个正念，还有一个邪念啊。这里呢，与一切菩萨自在神通悉明达，就是希望一切众生都明白正确的正知正见对于神通。我呢，有的时候那个星期四那个 Vipassana 那个领袖，他就请我来替他讲，给他的团体讲课。他如果另外有事情哈，我可以带他来讲。好了，进来了，我要认清楚我到底是跟谁讲法。如果是星期六晚上讲华严经，或者今天晚上星期天晚上讲华严经，可以将菩萨自在神通，大家点点头知道应该是什么呢？有他心通啊，对啊，还有什么宿命通啊，对。如果是星期四那个团体了，哎呀，我在那儿一提神通，他们都眼睛大大了。他们说：“本来我们是不是来学佛吗？这个跟那种魔术有什么关系呢？不要把那些邪见、那些迷信讲给我们听，我们不要了。”他们一点都不接受。可能时间久了，佛法就再过几百年，在美国，可能他们也会成熟了。 知道是怎么一回事。那么到了现在，你要认清楚你的对象是谁。OK， 为令一切众生得一切佛无尽功德，若福若智，悉平等故。Great vow. In order to enable living beings to attain the inexhaustible merit of all Buddhas, thereby realizing the same merit and wisdom as all Buddhas. Actually, it was fu, not merit, blessings. Same blessings as the Buddha, fu and zhi. I would retranslate that. So he wants living beings to get the inexhaustible merit of the Buddhas. Honestly, when I first got to Gold Mountain, and I know, let's see here, there are a bunch of us here who, let's see here, looking in, yep. We have quite a few of what are called senior disciples. Hey, senior disciples. Senior disciples here. That is to say, people who even reached Gold Mountain before I did. In 1973, I became a refuge disciple. I first walked in the door in 1972, I guess. So at that time, the words virtue, merit, blessings were not part of my understanding. I had no interest in virtue. Sounded like sissy stuff. Merit, I knew what merit scholarships were. I did no interest in merit. And blessings, bless you after you sneeze. I really was raw. I had my good roots had not emerged at that point. And yet, after studying with Shifu, listening to sutras, those words came up over and over and over again. Blessings as a counterpart to wisdom. The Buddha needed blessings. Half of his accomplishment were blessings. Half of his accomplishment were wisdom. Without blessings, you don't become Buddha. And then the Buddha is known as Wan De Bei, replete with all 10,000, the myriad virtues. And then virtue became identified with strength. Dao De Jing, the way and its virtues. Like, maybe I better pay closer attention to these words. What are these things? And I started to, without even planning it, get interested in virtue, and merit, and blessings. Sometimes the words in Chinese are stuck together, fu, de, blessings and virtue. And Shifu emphasized them over and over and over. More important in terms of frequency of mention than enlightenment, which I thought was the goal, the prize, what we were all looking for. Kind of like you could buy a king-size enlightenment at the market and return it if you weren't satisfied for your money back. It's like I was trained to be a shopper, listening to commercials every 15 minutes in a baseball game. I learned the names of 3 and 4 beer brands and tire brands for cars, Goodrich, Goodyear, Pirelli, on and on. I was trained to be a consumer. I know the difference between brands of lawnmowers because that's my culture. I didn't have any idea that all of these qualities were inside and just needed to be uncovered, needed to be booted up like programs on your computer for them to work. And that's what makes a life worth living. Blessings are what generate things going your way. You get the scholarship, you get the reward, you get the dividend, your tax refund comes back, right? When you have blessings, there's an accident, but it happens at the stoplight in front of you, the next block. It doesn't impact you because you have blessings. And when you hear the Dharma, it makes sense. It connects. You meet friends who open opportunities for you because of your virtue. You understand all the different pieces from seeing a single piece because you have blessings. And things lead you higher and higher towards goodness when you have merit. So all these words are so powerful and so important. And if it wasn't for meeting Master Hua and having him say, pay attention to the sutras, I want living beings to get the inexhaustible merit of the Buddhas in realizing the same blessings and wisdom as the Buddhas. If it weren't for Shifu, I would still think, strain at my meditation, sit on the cushion until I get enlightened. But that was Buddha. That's a piece of it. It's not the whole story. So how blessed to be able to find a real teacher who points you to the sutras and then explains them for you. 就说为令一切众生得一切佛无尽功德，若复若智，悉平等故。这样子一个回向愿呢，哇，不容易啊！你看这个佛无尽功德，然后呢有福有智，就平等。这样子呢，我本身先到了金山寺，1972年，然后1973年先皈依三宝，变成佛教徒。那个时候就说功德还有福气福报一点都不懂，不感兴趣，什么意思？这个不怎么会重要啊？为什么师父提到这些那么多？我以为佛教呢，你就要在那个浮船上，你打坐的开悟萨陀里天受萨陀里解脱这样子。以为那就是开始开悟，日本产，我有这个背景，一点都不懂。福是令人生欢喜好过，有福气；没有福呢，就常常碰钉子，常常不圆满、不知足、不满意，因为没有富尽了，就没有福报要修福。然后呢，佛是就是二足尊、两足尊，有福有慧，平等，必须要有两个，你少一个你成不了佛了，就不懂，我一点都不懂。听师父讲，慢慢的说听佛经是重要，研究佛的智慧，在汉传佛教的经书。那个重要，读了看了，福功德什么福德就慢慢的明白，都内在的德佛怎么成的呢？就万德备，万德都是内在的德，慢慢的把那个覆盖这个障碍的东西拿掉了，修掉了，那个功德就圆满了那个时候就一切都顺利就人生吃得生吃得过，因为有功德，这个人有功，那个人有德行，哇，一切都圆满所以慢慢的有真正的善知识在你跟前，那么那个政治正见就到了你慢慢的学了，你就会认识了，不在那儿等着开悟，好像开悟是可以买的真的，因为佛法刚刚到了西方，慢慢的我们都有认识了Buddha Dharma has just come to the West, so it's important for us to get people looking in the right direction. It's inside, it's not outside. You can't buy enlightenment.Return it for a refund if you're not satisfied. 为令一切众生发菩提心，结一切法平等一相，无一缺故。In order to enable living beings to further their resolve for Bodhi, thereby understanding that all phenomena, without exception, are of a single characteristic. All right. Pretty sophisticated transference wish, wouldn't you say? So, didn't I tell you that here in the seventh transference, this Bodhisattva is got high hopes for us. He really wants us to be immersed profoundly in the culture of the Dharma. So may living beings, after I give them my merit through transference, bring forth their resolve for Bodhi, truly. Focusing on waking up, on benefiting others as their purpose, and because of that, looking at every Dharma as having a single characteristic, which is, if you had to pick one, there's a number one, a lot of characteristics you could pick as the single one. One would be impermanence. The three seals, the three hallmarks, san, fa, yin, are important, which is to bring forward here. So you pick one. Another one you could say is all dharmas, everything in the world, has no intrinsic self. There's no further irreducible quality that emerges when you get down to the root of all dharmas. No, it's not. They are in flux. They move. So all phenomena, without exception, move on. You could use that one. And the traditional one, the third one is ku kong, they say. All phenomena whatsoever are suffering and empty. Well, that's not very satisfying. That is to say, lead us to dissatisfaction because you can't get them. You want it, you want it's good, and you want to keep it. The best of relationships, the best of positions, the best of reputation, all those things that are prized by human society and natural and wholesome, go on, just vanish. They flow on into our bodies. Gary Snyder, the poet, said, Buddhahood is your last rebirth in edible form. And who eats us? The earth. The earth is made to eat the flesh of living beings. The earth is hungry, takes us. We vanish back into the earth. The body does. But there's something inside that moves on, right? So all phenomena vanish into the earth, or the air, or the water, or the fire. Goes back. So pick one. Those three seals, three hallmarks of the Dharma. Things move on. There is no intrinsic self, and things are unsatisfying and empty of any ultimate identity. That's profound wisdom. Thank you, for Buddha, for that. 就说，为令一切众生发菩提心，写一切法平等一相，无一缺。菩萨回向功德，他对我们的希望，抱的希望很高。当然，我们都要众生发菩提心，没有错。他们的目标认清楚，不是为了发财，不是为了钱，不是为了拿一个漂亮的妻子，一个英俊的丈夫，那个没有不好的，不过呢，不是最高的目标。就是要得解脱，为众生修道，菩提心。切一切法平等一相，那里就是有意思。如果说平等三相，我就说那一定是指的三法印就是说无论什么东西，这个也包括在内，茶壶。这个茶壶很不错，有一个let's see here， 峰山德宝 ，OK， 然后有一个梅花刻在外边，漂亮，梅花洞天的梅花，可能看不到there you go， right， very pretty， very nice， 普通的茶壶紫砂。Very nice. And guess what? 它会没有了，是土大，地大， 加火烧，然后现在是可以含着茶水把它吊的。哎呀，它做茶壶的茶杯的功用现在没有了，变了啊？为什么呢？无常，三法印无常啊。然后你就问那个地大或者茶壶有没有一个我相，一个在就是说所本才不能变的吗？没有了，无我相啊。然后呢，你就说得到这个茶杯，如果破掉了、打掉了、坏了，会不会执着了？就如果有的话，那就苦了。哎呀，没有了，我的好茶杯没有了，苦啊，空了啊，无常无我，苦空三法印，苦空无常无我，这个是佛的智慧，他的智慧眼看到万法，就说这个身体呢也是无常的，大地是准备把我的身体给吃了。这个地球是会吃人的身体了，是准备吃人的身体，我的你的。哎呀，怕了，不要吃我，看那个地下，没办法了啊，那就是可以说平等一项，万法皆是，看你喜欢选哪一项。Okay, there we go. Continuing, we got to move here. We'll never finish with our 为令一切众生. Ready? It is 为令一切众生什么什么故。为令一切众生了达正法，为是最上福德天故。There it is again. In order to enable living beings to thoroughly comprehend the right Dharma, thereby serving as the foremost field of merit and virtue in the world. Wow. Okay. There you have it. From the Bodhisattva's point of view, somebody who thoroughly comprehends the proper or right, the Dharma, is a place where merit and virtue can be grown like a field. Foremost, because good things done in the Dharma brings an incredible harvest from that field. On a pilgrimage that I took at one point, traveling outdoors, my companion, Bhikshu Heng Sure, Marty Verhoeven, was able to talk. I was silent during that period. And so he had to deal with the people who came up to find out what these two weirdos were doing by the side of the road. And without exception, Marty would answer questions, just, where do you sleep? How do you eat? Do you take money? Have you been saved by Lord Jesus' precious blood? If not, why not? We have good news for you. But occasionally, Marty, when the situation was right, he would drop in Dharma principles from sayings that we heard from Shifu or from actual sutra quotes. And every time he did it, you could see people's ears prick up. The Buddha Dharma, when it's a principle that comes from the nature, we hear it in a different way. It's amazing how that happens. There was the reporter from the LA Times. Can't remember. He was a Bay Area beat, but also the religion reporter. Ken Latvin? What was his name? He was a well-known writer, even for people whose paper was the San Francisco Chronicle. This LA Times religion reporter was driving back from I think a weekend maybe in Mendocino, perhaps, and he saw us somewhere near Santa Barbara, No, it was further north. It might have been Monterey. And he came out and asked the same questions and took pictures, and amazed that we had been going for so long at that point, a year plus. And then he asked whether we had been hassled by people, and how do we respond when people give us a hard time? And Marty's answer was, well, it's really true that you get back what you put out, and we've discovered that if we, no matter how people treat us, we actually feel like we have it coming. And that's from the past. In the present, if we are bearing no ill will, if we are trying our best to hold thoughts of kindness and compassion, people seem to reflect that, because as they say, everything is made from the mind alone. And this reporter, this journalist, was used to language. He lives in a world of language, and he had his little notebook, and he went, how's that again? Say it again? Everything is made from the mind alone. I want to write that down. He wrote it down, a line from the Avatamsaka Sutra. And he said, yeah. And it's because it is the right Dharma, the Buddha Dharma. Anybody who can bring it up at the right time, just add that bit of wisdom, you're planting down seeds in the field of merit and virtue for the world. It's that grows blessings and wisdom for people. So the Buddha Dharma is truly a place where we can grow the finest merit and virtue, because why? Those principles are ours. They're there already. And it's the Buddha who, because he uncovered the things that was covering his nature, he went past those obstacles. The principles were available to him in his nature, and he spoke them. And not always, but occasionally we go, yeah, I hear it. That is so true and deep. Thank you, right? We already have them, but mostly we cover them. And so the Buddha reminds us, names it for us, and yep, there they are. So, foremost field of merit and virtue in the world, Buddha Dharma. Okay. 就说为令一切众生了达正法，你我能了达正法的话，我们就变成世界最上福德天，福德天，福天德天，就是说我们能用佛法，答复一切问题，或者能解决事情。有机会的话，能用佛法来表达，我们就种福种德，那是最高最胜的一个福天了。在朝拜万佛城三不一拜的时候，恒潮法师跟过来的人讲话，我是质疑那个时候。有的时候新闻记者来了，那个洛杉矶时报一个宗教系编辑，他过来，我记得他就问普通的问题，说你们怎么样吃饭啊？在哪里睡觉啊？你们收不收钱？等等种种问题。然后他就问说，有没有谁过来的时候给你们惹麻烦呢？有没有谁要跟你吵架了？我们就Marty 就说，会有，不过呢，我们反应就是，如果对人家过去有害他们，那我们反正都要受果报，如是因如是果，可是呢，我们就泰然受之。现在有人对我们如果没有那种债的话， 我们如果保持平等心、慈悲心，就不会有事情啊。为什么呢？因为佛经就说一切为心造。那个记者他就听到那个华严经来的一切为心造，他就说哦，他的耳朵就立起来了，让我写下了，他就拿出本子写了一切为心。他说那个那个真的有智慧了，我不错，因为那个记者他是常常用语言来写他的文章，报道是正式的事情了，所以有经典的正法经典的道理出来了，他就认识了，这不是普通的讲话的一些语文。好，那么因为那些道理就在里边了，本来就说人人具足，个个不无了，没有一个就没有那些道理在里边。佛陀把自信上一切无明打掉了，修掉了，修得清净，真性佛性流露，结果这些道理他可以讲，我们听到了，认识，原来对的，在佛法的福德天里边种福种德，没有错。Okay, hey, I need a drink. That is really, really good. 大红袍茶，乌龙茶。Okay. Master Xuanzang, I'm going to bring up the map first. Take a look. Here he is. He's in a place called Kunduz, which is here. Right there. Kunduz. Where is it? It is north of Kabul, Afghanistan. Here's Kabul. That's Kunduz. And he had to cross incredible mountains to get there. He came down from the north. 玄奘大师呢，他在一个地方叫 Kunduz， 就是喀布尔阿富汗的首都北边，到处都是山林，很高很高的，不好过的啊，真的苦行哈。Okay. Here we go. 山行300余里，入铁门，封闭狭窍，二崖石多铁矿，一至为门扉，又筑铁卫陵，多悬于上，故亦为名。即突厥之关塞也。We finished there last week. Having traveled for more than 300 li among the mountains, 300, that's 100 miles in the west, he entered the Iron Gate. The peaks were precipitous, the rocks were rich of iron ore. The door, which was fixed on the rocks, was made of iron sheets, and many iron bells were hanging on it, hence its name. This was a pass of the Turks. 出铁门至独获罗国，自此数百里渡覆舟河，至活国，即设乎可汗张子达度舍所居之地。又是高昌王美绪，高昌王有书至其所，彼法师道，公主可贺敦以死，达度舍又病。Through the Iron Gate, he traveled onward to the country of Tukhara. Continuing from here for several hundred li, he crossed the Oxus River, reached the country of Kunduz. We just saw it. This was the place where General Dadu, the eldest son of the Shehu Khan, lived. He was also brother-in-law of the king of Gaochang. Intermarriage among the Khanates, right? The king of Gaochang had sent a letter to him, but when the master arrived, the queen, the princess of Gaochang, was dead. General Dadu was ill. Oh my, trouble. Trouble in paradise. Okay, what's going on? Let's go into it. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom here. 温法师从高昌来，又得书，遇男女等，污言不能止。因请法师曰：“弟子见师慕名，若差自诵师到婆罗门国。” good deal. 使更有一番僧智，为诵咒，患得见除。其后取可贺敦，年少为前而主，因药以杀其夫可怕。设计死高昌公主年少，虽被前儿特亲篡立为社，仍妻其后母。就上连续剧哦。Hearing that the master had come from Gaochang with a letter of introduction, the general and his male and female relatives all wept. He invited the master to stay and said, "My eyes are opened when I see you. I wish you will stay here for some time. When I am recovered, I will personally escort you to India." Wow, good deal, a guide. An Indian monk who arrived gradually cured the general of his illness by exorcism. What kind of a sickness was it? But a concubine of the general, being a young woman, poisoned her husband at the instigation of a son who was born by a senior queen. Since the general was dead, and as the son of the princess of Gaochang was still a child, the prince of the senior queen usurped the position of general and married the concubine. Don't you want to be king and queen of a country? Don't you want to be a prominent minister in the palace? No. 哇，你看这么邋遢，这么复杂，就像我们连续剧哦，做国王好不好做？在那个皇府里边住啊，不好住，危险。Okay, the general who was connected to the king of Gaochang by marriage was sick. Here is Master Xuanzang coming. He's got a letter of introduction from the king of Gaochang before the Shehu Khan. And the general and relatives all cried. They say, "Oh, you're here. We're so happy. I really want you to stay. I'm going to get well from my illness, and then I'll take you to India." Master Xuanzang says, "Okay, all right." So a monk comes and says, here's the general is sick, and uses his, what, Tabejo maybe? I don't know. He chases the demons that are infesting the illness. However, now keep track. Pay attention here. A concubine of the general has other wives. Because she's a young woman, she's a poisoner. Wait. Young women are expected to be poisoners. Because she's a young woman, she poisons her husband, the general. Why? Because another queen's son who wants to be king tells her to do it. So she's a young woman. She's what? Has no wisdom of her own? The general dies. No, there goes the guide. And the son of the princess of Gaochang, who was would be the rightful king, was still a kid, so he got no power. So the poisoner prince of the senior queen became the general and then married the concubine, the one who did the poisoning. While our monk watches, while Fa Shi witnesses this happen. 大师来了， 高唱，大家记得高唱吗？是那个舍护可汗以前，他就写个推荐信，然后那个将军呢，还有他亲戚就哭了。我们记得我们的国乡，我们的家乡，就说我现在有病了，我治病治好了，我就陪着你去，我带你去印度，因为我记得我去过。好啊，然后有哪一个印度和尚来了，他用什么魔术啊，用神通，用大悲咒啊什么，就把这个将军的病痛治好了。可是呢，哎呀，连续剧啊，太悲伤，太黑暗。一个妃子，就是将军的几个太太，因为是年轻的女人了，有另外一个皇妃生了儿子，儿子要做国王，他就鼓励这个将军的太太小三什么，就用毒害将军，他可以上位。他就这样做了啊，这个将军死了，然后正统的太子太年轻了，所以这个毒害将军的这个太子上位，然后把那个小三就结婚了。在皇府里边呢，真的不好做，危险 ，dangerous in that palace, man. You want to be king, you want to be prince, you want to be queen. 魏风上古，言流月余，彼有沙门名达摩僧伽，达摩僧切，游学印度，从灵以西，退为法将，起书了。与天齐僧，无敢对谈者。法师于至其学生前，世人问师，解几部经论多少？主弟子问，就弟子等问解怒，达摩学曰：我今解了，随意所问。Because of the funeral services for the general, the master stayed at the country for more than a month. He was hoping for that guide, I think, maybe, since it was offered. Now he's got to wait. There was a monk named Dharma-masanga who had studied in India and was regarded as a great teacher of the law in the lands west of the Pamir. In this side, they couldn't get to monks from China very often. None of the monks of Kashgar and Khotan could discuss the law with him. They didn't dare, it said. They wouldn't dare argue with him because he'd been to India. He's got the ring, right? He's got the diploma. Wishing to know how much he knew, Master Xuanzang sent someone to ask him, tell me, how many sutras have you studied? How many commentaries? Upon hearing this, the disciples, how dare you ask our Zhanglao what he knows? Dharma-masanga gives a little confident smile and says, I've read them all. I know all of them. So go ahead and ask. You can ask anything you like. Oops. Yeah. 旁门农夫，法师至不学大圣，就小教婆沙等问数课，不是好通。因谢福门人皆残，总是相见欢喜，处处欲赞，言己不能及。有惭愧心，所以他不会生脾气，不会发脾气。Knowing that he did not learn Mahayana Buddhism, the master made some inquiries concerning the Hinayana Vibhasha Shastra, but the teacher couldn't give a good explanation. He then acknowledged his inability. All the disciples felt ashamed, after which they were pleased each time they met one another. And the teacher always praised the master, saying that he was not as learned as the master. All right. Luckily he did. That was an opportunity for the honored teacher to respond with anger or to invoke his his followers to wipe out this pretender from China. He didn't. He had a good heart. He felt he had that wholesome dharma called shame and remorse. So he learned. He was able to respond with humility, and as a result, grew in his knowledge. So good stuff. 就说因为那个达摩僧伽法师他自己有惭愧心，不功高，结果碰到懂得比他多，碰到高智慧的大的高僧，他会谦虚，他会向玄奘大师学习，那就好啊，这样子呢就还有前途，还有明天啊。Okay, how important is it for us to keep our minds alive? There's always more to learn. 活到老，学到老。Okay, we're going to continue here. It's amazing where he travels. It's ahead that he reaches Bamiyan. Not next week, it'll be the week following, where these incredible Buddha images were. Okay, yeah, Amitofo. Okay. I wanted to remind everybody, when you have the opportunity, to take a look at DRBU new website. Dharma-masanga Buddhist University has a wonderful website. Go take a look. We've got 2 languages as well. Where do we go to find find Chinese? It's a fine site, and if you poke around, you will be able to find the Chinese website, Chinese language. But it's got lots of moving stories, examples of classes, examples of essays, videos, principles, our mission, our faculty, stories from current students, and you can visualize yourself going to Dharma-masanga Buddhist University and learning. 这是法界大学的网站呢，很好，有换新的那么各位我相信你都会觉得这个网站很不错。那个有可以介绍我们那边的老师啊、教授啊，看那个课程了，有video， 还有文章啊，还有很多次序，你可以看你自己去万佛城、去法界大学的学历有没有这个机会啊？有没有这个故事给你？等你来讲那个故事在法界大学。对不起，我的中文很差。Okay, you can visualize yourself at City of 10,000 Buddhas, Dharma-masanga Buddhist University, learning just like those who met Master Xuanzang, right? You too can extend your studies at DRBU, extend your knowledge. Let's dedicate merit and continue next week right here. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how us find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Followed by a chant to bow to the Buddha. Here we go. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Amitofo. That'll do it for us for today. See you all next week. Amitofo.
Thank you, 师法师.
Amitofo.
Can I call you in a minute or two?
Sure. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, Amitofo.